guys, this is Miss Miller, your photo instructor, and today we're going to learn how to make your stone portraits. So we're going to take a portrait like this, a close-up. You've already taken portraits. These are located, or should be located, in the L drive. In your class period, I made a folder called Stone Portraits, and that's where you were supposed to upload them. Now, if for some reason you don't have an up-close one, you can take a selfie with your phone. This is what I did, and just email it to yourself. But you really need to have a picture like this where it really focuses on your face and your expression. And what we're going to do, we're going to make this kind of turn into this. And it's a little scary, but it's kind of fun. This is sort of how I imagine I look to you guys when I'm yelling at you or, disciplining you guys. But anyway, so we're going to start fresh. So I'm going to get rid of this layer. And the first thing you want to do is resize your picture, because your pictures, if you are going to use the ones that you uploaded, taken with the red cameras, then you're going to want to, they're going to be really large. So go to Image, Image Size, and see mine's kind of big right now. And you just want to resize it to something manageable, like 8.5 by, like a normal sheet of paper. So I'm going to put in 8. And then make sure you change the resolution to 300. So my image is going to be about 8 by 10, close to 11, 300 resolution. And then hit OK. So please make sure that you resize it. This is the texture that we're going to use to create the stone effect. So I just have it open. These are located in the L drive as well. So you go to the L drive, go to your class period, and then go to, it's a folder called Stone Textures, and there's a variety in there. This is just one of them that I'm going to use for the demo. So you can go ahead and open that as well. Just right-click and select Open With, and then select Photoshop to open both of these in Photoshop. Alright, so to see your image bigger, just go to View. I already did it, but I'll show you again. View, and then Fit on Screen. If you're, oops, that was the texture. We don't want that. Sorry about that. So just make sure you're in the Portrait, Windows activated, then go to View, Fit on Screen. And you can always use that if it ever gets too small or too big and you can't handle, like it just gets too crazy looking. Alright, so I'm going to try to minimize this. We'll use this texture in a little bit. I'm just going to minimize it. It's probably the best thing to do to get it out of our way. So the first thing you want to do is make a background copy. So go to the main menu, go to Layer, and then select Duplicate Layer. And then it's going to ask if it's okay to make a background copy, and say OK. Alright, the next thing we want to do, you're in the background copy, make sure that layer's highlighted, so check over here to the right, and you want that one highlighted in this sort of grayish blue color. And then go to Image, Adjustments, and we're going to change it to black and white. So do black and white, or you can use Desaturate. Okay? And please try to do exactly what I'm doing and make your selections exactly where I'm making it, because if you do it another way, you're going to probably run into issues. So just kind of follow my direction. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a selection of your face. So again, this is very similar to the Tattoo Dream Portrait that we did, except we're using a few different tools and a different texture, but hopefully it won't be as difficult and it will seem more familiar to you, and it will be a good review for the tools that we have covered. Sorry, my dog's barking. So selection is kind of tricky for some kids. So up at the top of your menu, your toolbox over here to the left, these are your selection tools. You have your marquee, you have your lasso, and then the magic wand and quick selection. I prefer the quick selection. I think that's the easiest one to work with. The magic wand might be visible, so to get the quick selection, you want to click on the arrow in the right-hand corner, and select quick selection. It looks like a brush with a little dotted line coming from it. It highlights it up here in this tool option menu, and you can change the brush size. Oops, I thought I could. Anyway, it's kind of big. Right here. So I'm going to move my size down just a little bit. And you just drag, and you can stop and then click again and just kind of drag. And I'm just going to try to select my skin and my face. I think in the one tutorial I had my hair, but I'm going to do it a little different. If you select too much, you want to go back up to the tool menu bar and select the brush with the minus and just kind of, push it, and it should sort of wrap around your texture, the area that you're trying to select. And it might take a little bit of, coordination and practice to do this. So that's what we're here for. You're here to learn Photoshop, so don't freak out if you have to spend a little bit of time perfecting this and getting it right. And that looks good. Sorry, my dogs are playing with their toys. So there, we have our selection. Again, if you want to add to it, you would select the one with the brush with the plus. So I might push this in just a little bit. And then we're going to go to Layer, New, via Copy. So I should have 3 layers now. I should have my background layer, and I'm over here in my palette, my layer palette, and I'm just clicking these eyes next to the little thumbnails, and that's how you hide a layer. So I have my background, I have my background copy that I've turned black and white, and then I have my actual selection. Now remember, depending on what layer you're in, you want to be in layer 1 for this step. You can refine your selection by clicking on the eraser tool. So you'd go back over to your toolbox and select the eraser. It looks like a little handheld eraser. Again, you might need to resize the brush, make it a little bit smaller, and I make it a hard edge, and I might just kind of smooth this out a little bit. It's really not going to make that big of a difference, but it's kind of fun at least to play around with. There's a lot of hair selected here. I might get rid of that. Okay, so I paused it and cleaned it up. So I did take some time to kind of go around and clean it up. So I'm going to leave my other 2 layers hidden. I am going to go ahead and rename this layer that I'm on now. I'm going to click on it and click on the title and rename it Skin. And I really do encourage you guys to rename your layers. It just helps you stay better organized. Now we're going to drag our stone texture layer in. So I had it minimized. So I'm going to open it. You can sort of move it out of your way. Again, if for some reason it's not showing up like this, you might want to go to Window, Arrange, and then float all in windows to see both of them at the same time. And then sort of move them around. This is a little too big. I can make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to select my Move tool, and I'm in my stone layer. You can tell what layer you're in if you look over here to the left and look at your palette. So you see that's the one that's highlighted in the thumbnail. Make sure your Move tool is selected. It's the arrow with the plus, and then you're going to click and drag and release that texture over your portrait. And I'm just going to minimize this texture and get it out of our way. And then in that layer, I'm going to select where it says normal. I'm going to change it to multiply. There, and you can kind of get a sense of what we're doing. And I'm going to resize that a little bit as well. So I'm going to rename my layer to texture, so I know that's what it is. And then to resize, so that's the only layer, that's the only thing that's in that texture. So if I hide my skin, you can see that. I'm going to bring it back. So with the texture, I'm going to resize it a little bit because it's a little too big, I think. So I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, and Scale. And then you have this bounding box, and you can also move it around. So you might want to play around with like where the cracks fall. Like you don't want a crack falling like right over your eyes. And again, this is a little too big. So I'm going to just kind of make it a little bit smaller. That kind of looks cool. I might do that. And then once you get it how you want, you hit Enter on the keyboard, and then you'll notice the bounding box disappears. If you don't do that, if the bounding box stays and you try to do other things in Photoshop, it won't let you. So just remember that. What we're going to do next, we are going to go back. We're going to hide the texture. We're going to go back to your skin layer. So make sure that's highlighted. You're going to select the magic wand tool this time. So go to your quick selection tool and then select the magic wand. It looks like what it is. And then just click in the background like that. Then you have to go back and select the texture. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal that. So make sure the texture is highlighted, layers highlighted, and then hit the delete key. So you can see it deleted everything around our selection so that the stone is only on the skin. And then you can hit select, deselect, and then go ahead and just bring back your other layers if you want. Okay, and I noticed there's some weird coloration here that was probably on my texture, and I don't like how that looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and select my texture layer and go ahead and change that to black and white, and that should get rid of that weird coloring. So go to Image. You might not have this, so skip this step if you don't. Adjustments, and then black and white. So that should sort of take care of that. The next thing I want you guys to do is to go to the skin layer and go to Image, Adjustments, and select Brightness and Contrast. And we're just going to kind of bump up the contrast a little bit. And maybe darken, yeah, a little bit. And then go back to your texture layer, and then where it says opacity, maybe move it down just a little bit. Not too much, but so it's a little bit more subtle. Alright, so we still have a few more steps to do. I'm going to stop here for right now, and we'll pick up with part 2. I promise it won't be as long as the other one, okay? There'll only be one more part. So anyway, at this point, go ahead and save your work. Remember, File, Save As, and then just go to the L drive. I don't think I have it visible right now. Let me see. Oh, maybe I do. Oh, I don't. But pretend the L drive's here. So you go to the L drive and just go to your class period, go to that individual folder and save it in there. Just create a folder for yourself called Stone Portrait, and you can store your stuff in there. See you in a little bit.